Yo. That is crazy, dude. Wow. Holy shit. I wasn't expecting this chest of drawers. Dude, that is so nuts, man. I don't know what to say. Excuse the language. I hope you get you get to edit that out maybe a little bit.
Is that everything you wanted?
Dude, this is everything I wanted and more. Holy moly. I don't know what I just want to like climb inside this. Thank you guys. Thanks to Newegg for this. This is way too much. I can't believe you guys put this together. And I'm gonna keep this forever. This is so cool.
And that's real. That's 200 years old, at least.
What?
Yeah, that's a senior trunk. That's vintage.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to a very ridiculous and special episode on the Sohinki'S channel, brought to you by friggin' Newegg, I guess. Holy jeez. So we're finally getting an upgrade after 6.5 years, and I brought Tim from TimsChannel with me. He's gonna help me build this beast. Now we're gonna set up the camera and we're gonna build it. And we'll go step by step, and then hopefully it works. But I think we can build it better, faster, stronger than anything we've had before.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get to it, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the time lapse. Basically, when you're building a PC, it's all about plan of attack because you only have a certain amount of space to work with. So we were deciding, do we want to do the power supply first, which is usually the first step, but because we have liquid cooling and it has a pretty big radiator here, you can see this is what's going to be actually sucking in the air to keep the PC cool. We're trying to find space for the radiator, so we're deciding to do the radiator first while we have the most space, and then we'll probably do the motherboard and get the motherboard situated before we put the power supply in. Alright, so a change of plans. We realized that this is going to be really difficult to mount the radiator in the front because there's no other place to mount the hard drives in the case that we saw. So we're going to put the fans back, and we decided that the radiator is going to go on top. It's going to pull air from the top, and we tried it out and it fits. So yay, experimenting. Alright guys, and now we have the motherboard here, which we're probably going to throw in first, but not before we show you the most frightening part of building a PC. This is the thing that runs the PC. This is the littlest box. This is the processor. And you literally just kind of, processor there. You literally just plop it in a little more carefully than this motion, but you just plop it into the motherboard and then it's in. You clamp it down and you hope it works. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's the sexiest motherboard I've ever seen in my life. Look at that motherboard. That is a beautiful piece of circuitry. Godlike. I'm sorry, I'm too busy gaming to answer the door because I'm such a gamer. So you can see this is where the processor is going to go in the motherboard, and you see all these little contacts here. You might be able to see if it's close up. You're going to match up to all these little pins on the back of this guy, and you just got to put it just right. It's a little nerve-wracking, but we're going to do it right now. You're going to want to line up these little inlets with those guys.
It should just effortlessly.
Yep.
In place.
And just the steadiest hands.
Yeah.
And then these are going to clamp down.
Yeah, well, it should pop off.
Huh?
There we go.
Boom. And
perfectly in place.
The processor's installed. And then the back of the processor is exposed because eventually we're going to attach the liquid cooling block to the back of that. It's got some thermal paste on there. You're gonna stick it onto the back of the processor, which is attached to the radiator, and that's how you pull in the cooling for the processor. So one thing to notice when you're putting the motherboard in the case, you'll know you have it upside down. First of all, if it doesn't fit, but second of all, you need the PCI slots to be lined up with these spaces in the back of the case.
that's like, it's basically like these mounting screws, but has another pin on top. That's how we kind of know it's pretty much in place. It's not gonna move.
That's pins from the case.
Yeah, that pin's from the case.
Yeah.
That came all the way up.
Motherboard is mounted now in the case with the processor and the motherboard, and the next step is the power supply. Look at this case.
Why don't you do a little bit of that?
Holy jeez, look at this. Boom. Like a glove. And there you can see in the case there was a spot specifically to slide the power supply in. So it shouldn't just be sitting in the case. There is a little, you can't see it from this angle, but there's a little piece of the case sticking out that you can slide the power supply right in. So what we're doing next is the liquid cooling, just because that's going to be the most space sensitive of the things that we have left. We decided that we're going with the radiator next. We're deciding to put it on the outside of the case, and then you want the fans. You can actually look at your fan and it'll tell you which direction it's going to be blowing. So we want it pulling air from outside into the case through the radiator. You can see the arrows there, so we just want to make sure that arrow is pointing inward when we install it. It's going to attach directly to the radiator through holes that are already in the case. The next thing we're doing is now that we got the radiator in place with the fans correctly installed, hopefully, we're going to be attaching the actual cooling part to the processor. It's going to glue down, this back plate's going to go in, and then we're going to attach the back plate so that it's firmly secured to the processor. It turns out this motherboard is super cool, and it already had a bracket on it, so we don't need this guy. The way this is going to work is these screws, you can see it has one fat end and one skinny end. The fat end is going to go into the processor through these holes, and then when we eventually attach the liquid cooling to the back of the processor, we put these through the holes, and these guys are going to secure it down once they're locked in. And this gray stuff here, do not touch with your finger. That is the thermal paste, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And that is what's going to touch the processor. And I'm going to let steadier hands do this work.
So.
Also, I can blame him if he messes it up.
Sure. Sure you can.
You're going to press down firmly.
Yep, they're in place. If you want to start screwing these guys firmly, but not too firmly. You don't want to bend the board as you're pushing it.
Cool.
Cool. So the dangerous part's done.
Literally, like, what you just watched us do now is the hardest part of building a computer. There's some tedious stuff left, but those are the dangerous parts where you could really mess it up. Everything is done with the processor. What we're putting in here now, this is the RAM. We got 32 gigabytes of RAM here, and it's 4 sticks of 8 gigabytes each, so we actually could put a total, if we had all of them, of 64 gigs of RAM in this beast if we wanted to. So we want 1, 3, 5, and 7 for the slots. That utilizes all the channels. As Tim just showed me, if you have it incorrectly, then this little thing that I snapped open there, you can see right there, will just shut on its own.
There you go.
And it's in. Like a glove. RAM installed. Alright, so next step, since the graphics cards are going to take up a lot of room in the case, we're going to set up power and we're going to install the disk drive. As long as it works, this will all be worth it. Right now we're trying to run power to the motherboard, CPU. We got 2 VGAs in here for the graphics card, We have 3 SATAs in here for the drives. The last hard drive is going to plug directly into a PCI slot on the motherboard. I've actually never seen this before. My brother picked it out. Literally just hooks into a PCI slot, and that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Alright, so we plugged in most of the motherboard stuff. We got the Blu-ray in there, we got most of the fans and things, and we just discovered this, so we just took out this Samsung solid-state drive, and we thought it was going in a PCI slot, but it doesn't even take up a PCI slot. It literally just sits there on the motherboard once we have it hooked in. So,
I feel like it needs to go in.
oh, there we go. Got the little screw holding it down. And this little guy is going to be what I'm running my my OS on. We've officially plugged in everything except for my EVGA card and these 2 beasts right here. So we're gonna pop out these graphics cards and see what they look like. You can't feel like a sneakerhead about to open like a new pair of Jordans, because that's kind of what this box looks like to me. Wait, no, don't even come over here. Oh baby, that is a card. That is like the dopest. And it matches the motherboard. Newegg, you thought of everything. I'm not gonna have to buy another computer for like 10 years. We got these 2 bad boys out, and we're clearing the slots in the back of the case. And we're going to put the friggin' graphics cards in. This is the SLI bridge. This is what links these bad boys. 2 1080s SLI'd, yeah. The very last piece of the puzzle is this thing that's gonna allow me to make videos for you guys in the future, EVGA. I don't want to jinx anything, but so far this has gone way smoother than my last build. Alright, so as you can see in here, everything is hooked in. We have a janky ass setup because we haven't had anything installed, so we just want to, before I set it up in my room, I want to make sure everything is working properly. We downloaded the most updated BIOS for the motherboard that we have hooked in right now, and then after that I have a copy of Windows 10 here that we're going to have to boot on there. But for now, I'm going to flip the on switch, and I saw a light blink in the back. Let's hit power.
There we go.
Is it on?
Yeah, the fans are lit up.
Oh baby, that looks sexy.
One thing I will say, it's very
It says
quiet.
the temperature down there.
Oh, what?
That can't only be temperature. Now it's saying A2 and random stuff. Oh, okay. Well, so the computer is in fact working. There's just nothing at all on it. We're inside the motherboard. Well, after a lot of trial and error, we finally got, well, we think we've got the liquid cooling working. So we're gonna power this bad boy up, and we're gonna see what happens when we press the power button. And as you can see, it is in fact lighting up. So problem solved. And now we just gotta update the BIOS and stuff, but it's look how damn pretty that looks. Oh my gosh. Cables, they look all nice and managed just because they're super messy in the back of the computer. We're not gonna show you that. We're just gonna show you this beautiful, beautiful view here. We're currently installing Windows on our solid state drive right now. The processor is now at a comfortable and cool 26 degrees Celsius as opposed to 90. Which was very, very bad.
Yes.
Very bad. It's humming. It's purring like a kitten.
It's not very loud. It's very quiet.
It's very, very quiet, and it's awesome, and I love it already. We've got the computer running. As you can see, Windows is running here, and what's this? This is a graphics benchmark test that we just ran. There's our score, and what is this? We are in the 99th percentile. Better than 99% of computers that have run this graphics benchmark. So
Yeah.
I think we're doing all right.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good.
I think we're doing pretty good. And yeah, we're pretty much done here. We've got all the drivers. Oh my God. Huge thank you to Newegg for hooking this up. This is absolutely ridiculous. I can't say enough about these guys. They've been so nice in setting all this up. The build was fun. Thank you to Tim from Tim's channel. Check out Tim on Tim's channel.
That's where you can
I have a
check me
feeling
out.
that if I frame this right, I could put the link right next to his face. Alright guys, we'll see you next time, next week, where we'll have a video recorded on this bad boy. Alright, bye!